Welcome, and thank you for joining for another whiskey review. Today, we're going to take a look at one of our favorite distilleries and one of our favorite annual releases from that distillery, the Springbank 25. This particular one from 2001. Dustin comes in at 46% ABV as they normally do, but as always, a different cask maturation with this 2021 bottling. What do you know about it?
So this one, guys, this is the largest release I'm aware of at 1,400 bottles.
Ooh.
That shockingly did not reduce the price at all for us, so shucks. This one comes in at 70% sherry, 15 bourbon, 15 rum. And Mike, this is by far the darkest release they have done that I'm aware of.
Yeah, we're gonna do a nice little comparison review of Dustin's collection of 25s. He has four of them now.
Four, yeah.
And he sent me a picture when he first picked this one up and said, hey, look how much darker this is compared to the other ones. Even the 2018, which was all sherry.
Yeah.
But that said refill sherry.
They have really been focused on, I feel like refilled cask usually, they're very much about subtlety on the cask finishing here. And even this one, I mean, this is not like a super dark whiskey, but it's got some nice color.
Yeah, look at that. I mean, yes, for a Springbank 25, it's rather dark compared to the other ones. We'll bring you a comparison.
As 25s go, I don't think this would be on your dark side.
No. But again, it's not all sherry cask maturation.
You can see just a little bit of stuff floating in there, even Mike. Just a sign of a quality whiskey.
But yeah, a few little gems in there. All right, let's get into it again. 46% ABV as always.
Yeah, I'll tell you what.
When you get
so we just had this a little while ago to kind of get Mike acclimated to it. Mm-hmm. So we like to not go in, completely blind, especially on a whiskey of this nature. I'll tell you what, man, switching to the Capitas.
Focuses the smell.
God, I mean, you can just pick up that intense. This is old school sherry. Mm-hmm. This is not the sherry cask you got on that local barley they just did. This isn't the sherry casking you get in the 15. This is old school, guys.
That's the beauty of having a small release if you can get your hands on it. Because they only picked 1,400 bottles, and there was 3 different type of cask maturations. Yeah. I mean, how many sherry casks are we talking? 2, 3?
Yeah, tops? I mean, it's 2 or maybe they used hogsheads. I don't know, but they couldn't have used. These were butts. I mean, if there's 2 butts in here, I don't even know how they did this.
Yeah, if they didn't use maybe the whole cask, but I mean the point is very, very few casks went into making something like this, and I tell you what, they're all playing nice together. I tell you what, as always, I'm getting that nice strawberry note that I normally get off those Springbank 25s, a little bit of lily and flower, but this is by far the most sherry forward one, even though it's only 70% sherry. This smells. If you would told me this is only sherry, I would have believed you.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, if you told me it's a first fill sherry butt that's dominating this, I would say, okay, maybe it wasn't wet, but it's okay. I'd believe it. I mean,
it's beautiful. Almost. You mentioned peanut butter cookies, like some type of like a no bake cookie note to it.
On the nose, I definitely get more of like a no bake cookie, sugar cookie. Definitely. Then you get a little bit of that sea salt that you often pick up on these Campbelltowns, where I'm assuming the casks are probably matured close to that peninsula, so they're probably getting into some sea breeze. A little bit of peat here, but very, very subtle.
I mean, the fruits, though, after you get past the initial kind of dominant sherry note, the fruits are really coming up now.
Yeah, and you can tell these sherry casks are slightly funky, and I wouldn't be shocked if a little of the funk's coming from the rum. You don't get a ton of the Springbank funk, as we traditionally have told people. The 25 really doesn't. Even the 21 really doesn't bring the...
The 21, yeah, there is some, but the 25 is usually non-detectable at all. I almost don't think, that's really the normal Springbank funkiness. I agree with something you mentioned earlier, the rum cask. Rum cask sort of come off as sort of a funky vanilla, and I'm sort of getting a little bit of that along with those like kind of tropical fruit notes.
Yeah, but a lot of tropical notes here that aren't that common in even Springbank 25.
Agreed.
And then a lot of just they had a little bit of sour, a little bit of the malt's adding some savory. You've got some sour, you've got tropical. I mean, it's screaming older than 25-year-old whiskey.
Yeah, man, this is. I mean, again, I always enjoy Springbank 25. It's my favorite release of the distillery every year. But even as Springbank 25s go, this is special. This might rival that 2016 that I like so much.
I know.
Maybe. But yeah, so obviously, to kind of narrow down the tropical fruits, I would say grapefruit, like a non-acidic grapefruit, which I know isn't a thing, but maybe grapefruit with a little bit of sugar on it. Yeah. And maybe just a candied banana. There's a slight candied banana note that goes with a vanilla note.
I am now getting a little bit of like diesel fuel, just a little bit of that like gasoline diesel fuel.
None of that.
Oh, yeah, a little bit on the finish. I'm just getting a little bit of that. It's coming from the oak casks, probably maybe a little bit of the peat. God, there is some peated element here that's giving it just an extra layer of complexity.
You know, the more I nose here, the more a little bit of that vanilla is coming up, that creamy vanilla.
There's
Almost whipped.
There's absolutely some cookies and cream and vanilla.
A little bit of custard, maybe. Vanilla custard.
Yeah.
Man, there's a lot going on with this one, man. I can sit here and nose this all day.
Honestly, I mean, it's cask forward and malt forward, Mike. I mean, everything in this is intense. Again, this also you could sell me on 48, 50 ABV on this one. You probably couldn't tell me it's over 50.
Yeah, no, it comes off a little stronger than 46. I mean, I know all of these. I mean, obviously, we know the Springbank 25 is always at 46% ABV, like 5, 6, 7, 8 years running now, at least.
Yeah, as long as I've seen them.
I mean, no, but this comes off heavier, for sure. Beautiful malt. Beautiful malt, and I tell you what, even the Springbank funkiness isn't here, just that density. You know, and again, all the things I love about Springbank are here. Excellent whiskey. Like I've told you before, the older Springbank gets to me, just the better it gets. It's really a whiskey that comes off great as you get into your 20 and 30-year-old whiskeys. What are you picking up on the palate?
Up front, rush of sherry. It's very sweet, but a little prickly, a little bit sour. Extremely well done. Nice oak casks are coming in as well with that. Really working beautifully. Then I start to get a little bit of that gasoline peatiness that I mentioned earlier. And with that, though, I'm getting the sugar cookie. I'm getting that slightly like a peanut butter cookie. It's not that there's a lot of peanut in here by any means. It's like just that slightly sweeter like note that comes in those peanut butter cookies when they really used very little. Almost like after you've initially chewed it and it's kind of in your mouth still. Then I'm getting a rush of vanilla. I'm getting a rush of a little bit of salt. And then the finish just continues with layer after layer of different types of oak elements, bringing us a little bit of chocolate, a little bit of sherry fruits. I'm not getting any like distinct red fruits. I mean, there's probably raisins and plums, a little bit of strawberry, but nothing's like jumping out as the dominant note. Mike?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fruit basket, but you're right. The finish on this thing is incredible.
It's still going.
It's still going. The linger's so nice because the linger transitions a little bit. Yeah, I mean, initially, again, it was getting fruit forward. I was getting those strawberries. I was getting, again, maybe like a papaya or maybe something a little softer than a pineapple. Then you're right, it goes in those sugary sweet flavors, baking spices, baking dough.
Tropical fruits, I definitely didn't mention that, but yeah, they're here on the taste too.
Man.
Definitely.
This initially comes off dark. Again, this feels like the most sherried Springbank 25 we've had for sure. But it's kind of counterbalanced by this sharp sweetness and this really kind of aggressive, slightly aggressive, like malty note.
Yeah, the malt is very aggressive on this one, which my memory of the other 25s is not as aggressive. This one is much more aggressive.
Little biting. Yeah. We thought about the Balvenie we had earlier today too, though, so maybe it's just our palates on this given day. But yeah, I definitely feel like it might, and the malt being biting, I think that's a little bit where the sourness comes in.
Yeah, maybe this is more European sherry cask, whereas maybe they've used some hogsheads in the past that used American oak. I'm not really sure, but
yeah, you were able to pick up 2 bottles of this, but you picked up this first bottle a week ago, 5 days ago.
Not been very long.
Yeah, not been very long. You have raved about this. You got into it hard so far.
Well, when I got the second bottle, it went from here.
I always feel better, don't you?
I mean, we've had a pour together, so we've already had 2 pours today. There's 2 more pours here, and then on top of that, I compared this to a bunch of whiskeys because let me tell you guys, before I spend this kind of money on a whiskey, it better be amazing and it better hold up to other whiskeys.
Yeah, for sure. If not, you can spend it on something new.
Yeah, I mean, if I'd gone and done a bunch of comparisons and said, no, my bad, I just was really happy when I got this. I'll just set this one aside for 6 years.
Yeah, the tropical fruit note here is really strong too. It's plays so well with the dark sherry.
Now I'm getting just this beautiful tropical fruit note and then this pastry.
Yeah, the fruit note is with pastry. It's almost like you're sitting down at breakfast, and again, you have the grapefruit with a lot of sugar on it, and then some type of croissant with butter.
Yeah, I was going to say buttered toast with some kind of jam.
Yeah, with some type of jam or butter. Almost like the orange juice is there too.
Oh, and the chocolate's coming through now too. And that sherry, just milk chocolate here too. Not dark chocolate, milk chocolate.
You see how subtle and long the changes are though? You usually, you pick up a note on a whiskey and you'll kind of transition to the other note and you kind of forget about the other note. Like it is a long handoff.
Between notes. Yeah, it's like you're driving a car and it's an aggressive shift. versus kind of, like that dual clutch where it's just very smooth and almost like that shifted. Wow.
I mean, yeah, not only is it a smooth shift, but again, one after the other kind of lingers just so long with it. Hold hands very well.
Yeah.
And it's always that kind of sour sweetness, and I don't say sour in a bad way. It's just a twinge of sour that makes it slightly biting, and then it just moves quickly into nice fruity notes, and then it gets dark again.
Ooh.
And still vanilla's still there.
I want to start talking about the palate, and then it just keeps changing. So water, Mike, up the sour, up the oak. But then, it made the transition more impressive, and that's how it shifted. All the same flavors. God, just the richness and complexity here. Hits all those notes that you're looking for in old whiskey. It has the nice oak without being like bitter oakiness. It has the little bit of that tropical fruit that we kind of noted you generally don't get until you get into older whiskeys. You get citrus a lot. You don't get tropical.
No.
And then beautiful sherry cask giving off sweet chocolate, but also bringing some spice and, some of that nice kind of sherry funk. It's not a clean whiskey by any stretch, but it's not dirty, dank Springbank if you've been put off by some of the Springbanks that were a little too funky, weird. That's not here. But you do have to want a little more umami. You have to want a little bit of savory. You need that, and this perfect balance.
Yeah, no, this is an impressive whiskey.
And I'm telling you, the finish. I've never had a 46% whiskey with a finish this long. Mike.
It definitely comes off the most viscous, oily, and hefty of all the 25s by far. It's got to be the cast.
It's still just sitting right here on my tongue.
Yeah, I would say when I went into it again, it's just, it's that little bit of sour, a little bit of that sweet, and it transitions into chocolate so well on the palate.
Yeah.
And then after the chocolate kind of subsides, you're just left with the fruits again.
I am telling you, this is
strawberry.
This has the cost. Every time I have the 25, my only real complaint has always been it's a little
46.
thin.
46. Yeah.
It needed more. This one didn't need more.
No, this one didn't need more.
This is the first one I've had where that's just not a complaint at all.
Agreed.
Meanwhile, it's the most intense, rich, full experience I can remember. We're going to do them all side by side. We got a video coming up here in a few weeks for you guys on that one too. But this is just
Christmas in a glass.
I don't even want to go back for another pour because I'm still enjoying what's sitting here. And it's not the most long, the strongest finish that's sitting on my mouth, but it's
substantial beautiful. Though. You know what I mean? It's not a subtle finish. It's there. It's there for sure.
Well, we were drinking a Balvenie Ton 1401 before this. This finish is 10 times more, just longer, richer.
It's longer. I don't know, 10 times seems significant, but yes, it definitely goes on longer.
I feel like that one was done in 30 seconds. This one, I think in 5 minutes I'm still going to have it, so that would math to 10x.
Okay. But no, it is a very long linger. Linger. And gentle but firm, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and again, it's smooth and creamy as it transitions into that vanilla, that cookie, that pastry, the slight saltiness that comes in there to really kind of balance it out. And then you get the nice oaks, but the oaks still are holding on to some of that chocolate. They're holding on to a little bit of red fruit.
Yeah, that chocolate note is definitely coming from the oak.
Oh, man. Well, it's just got to be sucked out of those sherry barrels, and it's just intertwined oak and chocolate.
Chocolate covered raisin.
Oh, man, it's like cocoa powder, good Nestle cocoa powder.
Yeah, buddy, another excellent Springbank 25. Appreciate you always getting these.
Dude, I tell you what, I was not going to get it this year, and I just couldn't help myself. And then I bought another bottle. I was like, I did not just do that.
I know when they said that another bottle, and you said you want it, I was like, yeah, I do want it. Next time you go there, I'll pay for it, or you pick it up. And then 45 minutes later, I'm kidding. Later that day, you're like, I'm here, I'm going to get that. If they have another one, I'll let you know. No, you're the Springbank guy, man. I'm glad you get them.
Well, I hinted you should probably order it online, and I'll pick it up for you. That was my way of saying, if you buy it first. Oh, look, Mike didn't.
Dustin didn't wait too long. He went back and got it. All right, buddy. So we're at as far as a whiskey score on this one.
Mike, I have been thinking about this all week.
I'm bouncing between two numbers.
And I'm going higher than I really thought I'd ever go on a 46% whiskey.
Give it to me.
93. It's a hell of a score.
Hell of a score.
And I tell you what, I've compared this to other whiskeys I've given 92s to. I liked it better. And I consistently liked it better. So
Yeah, so I'm between a 91 and 92, but I will say this. I believe this may have unseated the 2016 Springbank 25 is my favorite in the last, since 2015.
Yeah.
So in that vein, I will say 92. Once again, just excellent whiskey. I'm partial to this whiskey, as you know.
Yeah, I mean, 93, I did not think I'd even be coming close to that on this bottle when I bought it. And
yeah, I will say this. Right now, today, giving this whiskey a 92, that is absolutely the highest I'm scoring a 46%. I mean, what did we give the Highland Park 30? That was a 91 or 92.
We get in the 90s,
Yeah.
and I think you've gotten at least 91 before on another Springbank 25.
Yeah, I know.
Because you've gone higher than me on those.
Yeah, I'm just saying right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, just right now. I mean, all I'm saying is that's a strong statement for 46% ABV.
It's a hell of a score.
And I love cask strength whiskey.
Absolutely. And I mean,
but again, great, unbelievable whiskey to
how
get
did
your
they
hands
do
on.
this? I'm telling you guys, the nose, I've had noses on 46% whiskeys that were this rich. Mm-hmm. Never on the palate.
No, it comes off far heavier. Far heavier. That's what we've always said. Well, I want a higher ABV or dare I wish for a cask strength Springbank 25. You know what I mean? Official bottling.
93, yeah. Oh, yeah, there's that little bit of grapefruit and pineapple now on the finish, too.
Grapefruit's there, man. Especially that grapefruit peel. You know what I mean? Maybe not the actual fruit itself.
Yeah.
That's too acidic.
It's definitely not that acidic. It's just those flavor notes are coming through.
Beautiful whiskey. All right, we're going to compare all of them for you at some point. We'll bring that to you later. Great whiskeys. If you guys be interested in seeing a video of what is Dustin's best Springbank, since you have so many, let us know. Dustin will bring you his top 3 Springbanks. And if you want to see what's my best Lagavulin, I'll bring you my top 3 Lagavulins. Let us know in the comment section if you want to check that out. And we will bring that to you. Dustin, until next time, what do we wish the folks?
Happy drinking.
We'll see you then.